If your child's tantrums make you feel like you're doing this whole motherhood thing wrong, this video is for you. I remember sitting in church with a 1-year-old toddler screaming at the top of her lungs as we were all trying to listen to and enjoy the sermon. I remember thinking to myself, everyone is looking at me. I am such a bad and terrible mom. I don't ever want to come back here again. And I remember all I had in my purse was a lollipop, some candies, and that is what I would do. That was my method of getting through every church service. Was I would have a stash of candy for my 1-year-old to eat. And I remember thinking, I literally don't ever want to come back here. Everyone has to think that I'm the worst mom. And that was actually what I did for a while. Is I stopped going to church even though I wanted to be there. I stopped going because I felt like all eyes were on me and I felt like I was such a failure. There was so much guilt, so much shame, and it felt like no one understood what I was going through and that I had no tools, no strategies, no wisdom in this area. And the only way that I could cope was to bribe my 1-year-old toddler with candy. And I knew that it wasn't right, but it was what worked at the time, and it was what got me through each week that I would try to understand that tantrums aren't a sign that you are failing as a mom and as a parent, but I do know now that tantrums are a sign of a nervous system that is struggling. And not to go too deep into the neurological science behind it, but when a toddler is trying to regulate their emotions, they actually need is for us to remain calm so that they can co-regulate and be able to calm down to come to a place of reasoning and of logic that they borrow from us. Their brain is still developing in these areas, so they're not able to gather logical thoughts and come up with the conclusion on how to get through these big emotions that we are hoping that they can work through to come out of the tantrum. Instead, we know that instead of looking at it as a personal attack that our toddler is having a hard time, understanding that what they actually need is for us to help them through their nervous system shutting down and having a hard time processing what they're feeling. And you're probably thinking, if that's the case and it's not personal, then why does the tantrum feel so personal? And the reason why is because a cycle gets created where the child melts down, and then we, as a parent, we freeze or we get upset and we escalate the situation. Then everything gets escalated and heightened, and the next tantrum feels even heavier than the first, and we repeat this cycle, and it starts to make us feel the guilt and the shame that we keep going through this battle over and over. But instead, here's the truth. Tantrums don't mean you're failing. It just means that your child needs support through the transition. Here's one gentle shift that you can use immediately. When your child is melting down during a transition, one thing that you can do is you can stop and say, I see you're upset. It looks like you're feeling sad. Transitions are hard, but I'm here, and it's time for us to move on and go and get ready, or go and get in the car, or leave the park, whatever the transition is. The way that this helps is because you have first validated the emotion that your toddler is feeling, and then you have created a way to maintain your leadership by showing the clarity of what is coming next, as well as that this is the expectation that you need your child to follow. Taking the time to do this and acknowledge how your child is feeling also offers safety and comfort. It lets your child know that the transition is not more important than the emotion, but that through acknowledging the emotion and meeting them where they're at, you're able to come alongside them and help them into the transition and avoiding the tantrum and the meltdown. One mistake is ignoring the emotion and moving on and reacting out of our fear. Instead, we want to remain calm, make sure that we are staying engaged in the process by acknowledging the emotion, which then allows us to respond versus reacting to the situation. Remaining calm doesn't look like perfection, but it does open the door to less transition struggles and tantrums. And if transitions are where your tantrums and struggles show up most for your family, I want to invite you to join us in Transition Triumph, which is a full step-by-step system that will help your family to navigate through those transitions. It will give you the step-by-step tools and systems needed so that your family can navigate through what it is that your child needs in those very moments so that you don't have to deal with as frequent tantrums and that you will learn to remain calm. This is going to be the key for your child to have safety as they are learning to regulate their own emotions and to remain calm. So click the link below in the description and we'll see you there.